I'll proceed. Okay, so yeah, I've got 10 minutes, so I won't hang around. My name is Patrick Devine-Wright, and I'm a professor at the University of Exeter, as was just mentioned. And I've been working in the area of environmental social science over the last 15 to 20 years on energy transitions and issues around community engagement, social acceptability, and citing issues around major infrastructure projects. But over the next few minutes, I want to share some thoughts with you about a new initiative that I'm the director of, and it's called Access, and it's about advancing capacity for climate and environment social science. And if it means anything, it means appreciating the role and value of social science in trying to tackle these very challenging environmental problems that we face currently. So, I mean, this event is positioned around the social dimensions of climate change. And I think it's worth starting by mentioning this basic shared idea that people are at the heart of environmental challenges. We sometimes talk about climate change as if it's simply something that's come out of a modeling exercise. It's something that occurs in the atmosphere. It's something involving greenhouse gas emissions. But it is, at the end of the day, an anthropogenic phenomenon. And if we are to truly understand the basics of the causes of these problems, such as climate change, and also to try and carve out solutions that will work to effectively remedy those challenges, then we need to have insights from the social sciences right there in informing our thinking and informing our actions. Now, the social sciences, in terms of the kind of knowledge, the expertise that we have available across the UK, is undoubtedly world-class. We have fabulous global leaders in our academic institutions and departments across the country and working in a variety of sectors. But at the same time, there are some challenges that we can note about bringing the social science to bear. As we mentioned already, there's a tendency to think sometimes about solutions in terms of technological fixes. We need hydrogen or offshore wind, and suddenly these environmental problems will be solved. But getting a nuanced social science set of insights to bring to bear onto that is quite a challenge. There is, to some degree, a degree of fragmentation across different disciplines and perspectives, and social scientists are often, I guess, involved in very large research consortia nowadays, tackling different environmental problems, but sometimes siloed into small particular social problems. So there's an issue there about how we bring different disciplines together, how we bring different forms of expertise together, and what's the role of social science in doing that, potentially leading these initiatives, but what kind of skills are needed. And I think in our universities, we are actually very, very good at skilling people up in single disciplines, for example, training people to be political scientists or sociologists. But I think there's still more work to be done in considering interdisciplinarity and transdisciplinarity and what kind of skills are required in order to flourish in those kinds of contexts. I think there's another issue in terms of, when we bring social science expertise to bear and how we can communicate it. I'm involved and have been involved in lots of research projects. They often take years to get going, and peer review means that the journal papers we publish can take some time to come out. Often the timings of academic research and the timings that stakeholders need social science insights don't match up very well. So that's something to think about in terms of how we can mobilize in a more agile way social science insights to be timely and relevant for stakeholders, in particular policymakers. And we're also very, very good at producing new data. There is absolutely tons of social science data out there in terms of qualitative data sets, quantitative data sets produced by academic institutions, but also a range of other stakeholders, bodies like the National Trust, etc. So how do we better utilize those data sets, signpost people towards them, and actually give them the skills to be able to properly utilize them? These are all significant challenges that I think we need to face if we're going to solve environmental challenges like climate change. So the Access project, which I'm the director of, stands for Advancing Capacity for Climate and Environment Social Science. And it's based on the presumption that we need structural and behavioral changes across a whole range of levels and institutions in our society if we are to reach these fundamental goals of net zero by 2050, but also those other broader environment challenges around biodiversity, sustainability, etc. So there are significant changes ahead, and we need to mobilize social science knowledge in all its diversity to tackle these problems. But in terms of how we do that, we think that increasing the agility and the accessibility and the use of social science insights in order to co-produce evidence with stakeholders, policymakers in particular, is an absolutely crucial ingredient towards tackling those problems. And Access is a 5-year project. It's only just got going, and it's a significant investment from the Economic and Social Research Council. So the objectives of this project are to champion environmental social science through positive leadership and to be guided by intertwined principles, including co-production, equality, diversity, inclusion, and sustainability. We won't have any credibility as a project team unless we can practice these principles and try and forge a new idea for how social science can be done in a way that enshrines these principles and has credibility and impact as a result. And what we aim to do is to develop and coordinate a network of interdisciplinary environmental social scientists across a range of different environmental topics, including climate change and different aspects of that challenge, but also across career stages and sectors. We're not just interested in social science knowledge in academia, although that's obviously a key focus of our work. And we want to empower and enable and train up social scientists to have the skills to flourish in interdisciplinary contexts, to be able to communicate effectively and collaborate effectively with natural scientists, with engineers, and people across a range of sectors. And that's required in order to be able to produce insights in a way that's effectively communicated and timed to be responsive to the needs of stakeholders. And across all of these activities, we're going to act reflexively. We're going to produce new tools, new ideas, new insights, new guidance, which we will share in accessible formats through our knowledge exchange platform, and hopefully enable that better use of social science across these challenging topics in the years to come. We have a work program that's made up of a range of activities and driven by a team of postdoctoral researchers and operational staff. We will be guided by an international advisory board. We've already set up a policy to make sure that the dialogue with policymakers across a range of different institutions across the UK to make sure that what we're doing is relevant to those stakeholders in the production of insights. We will have a range of events that will take place on an annual basis that you can look out for, and I hope join us in, not least an annual assembly where we bring people together for dialogues across different sectors towards issues like interdisciplinarity, agile response, and how to collaborate effectively across different stakeholder sectors. We will also have an annual summer school for early career researchers. And one of our novel aspects is to create a leadership college, kind of a network of future leaders who will take the social sciences into different sectors and enable transformation in environmental challenges by working together collaboratively to challenge and to raise new issues and do excellent work along that lines. As I said, we will try and work in a rapid, agile, responsive way. And we have a significant budget for a flexible fund. So we want to receive ideas in our applications for that, for new ideas and ways of thinking, which we think will really bring innovation to this area and can solve those challenges by bringing new insights to bear on how to do collaboration and make social science effective in a new way. And finally, one of the things we're interested in is a public engagement tracker. And this builds on some work that Lorraine and the CAS Centre has previously been doing. You know, we're pretty good at devising surveys and capturing data about public engagement on a monthly or a quarterly basis. Social media opens up new opportunities to track public engagement with environmental problems like climate change on a daily or hourly basis. And the use of a tracker tool, we hope, will enable stakeholders to tap into moment-by-moment dynamics in the changes in those levels of engagement. So we're very excited about that, working with the CAS Centre and trying to bring that to bear over the next few months. So now that's a pretty challenging series of objectives to set ourselves, but I'm pretty sure we can meet that because we have an excellent team behind us, and we want this team to grow across the next few years. We have a leadership team made up of people like Professor Gillian Annable, Lorraine Whitmarsh, who's on this call today, various people from universities like Exeter and Surrey. But we're not just a bunch of academics interested in kind of giving off theoretical ideas to the world. We have a deeply embedded involvement of, for example, the nature agencies bodies like English Nature and the Environment Agency, who are part of our leadership team, and ensuring that we don't stray too far from a kind of a real world contact and engagement and that co-production approach I've mentioned. We have a very broad team of academic co-investigators who are leaders in their fields across different environmental challenges, including climate change, and a range of partner organizations across different sectors. And we're interested in growing this over time. So do get in touch if you're interested in following up this and joining our network and getting in touch with our events. But the reason why we're doing this, essentially, it's not just because we're interested in the social sciences per se, but we want to make the insights and the data and the findings from those studies relevant and useful so they have an impact upon these crucial crises that we're facing at the moment. There isn't really a moment to lose on this. We are in a decade of action, and the time span of access, which is from 2022 to 2027, is going to be absolutely pivotal to making this period work and making those longer term targets around 2035, 2040, 2050, etc., actually feasible. If we delay action now, it's not going to work. And so mobilizing the social science insights now in order to enable that work in this decade of action is absolutely crucial. So that's it from me in terms of introducing the Access project. Do get in touch, do join our network, come along to project events, and there's various details here about how to do that through social media or email, etc. But thank you very much again for listening and for inviting me to talk today. Thank you.